And hello everyone, welcome to another iRacing video with myself, Babylon.com, and I hope you're all well and enjoying life at the moment today. If you're not, no complaints here, please don't post on my channel. I'm back. I've had a few weeks off. If you're a regular visitor, you'll notice I've not posted any videos for a couple of weeks. I'll explain why in a moment. In the meantime, let's get this show on the go, and I'll explain what's going on. Okay, it's the IMSA Michelin Pilot Challenge. Week, oh crikey, 5, 6. Could be 6. That's me in the green and white car. BMW M4 GT4. It's a mixed challenge race with GT4s and touring car classes. We're at Okayama, full circuit. Rolling start, coming around to the start around this next corner. I qualified in P7. And we go, go, go! So yeah, qualified in P7 with a 139 something. Guys in pole were about a 136. So that famous 3 seconds. If you're a regular visitor, you know what I mean. Already up into P6, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. P5. It was quite a good race. I did enjoy it. I was trying to be careful because I've taken a bit of a hit on my safety rating points this last couple of weeks. But no, it was a good race. It's a circuit I have raced on now quite a few times in iRacing. In fact, to the point where I literally did a 15-minute practice session. Oh, carnage in the background. My qualifying times weren't fantastic. My fastest for the race was a 137. So I did improve on my qualifying. It's quite a short, tight, windy circuit with a medium straight and a longish straight. And I was actually running high downforce settings. I found this to be the best for me. Right, so we just came across the line onto lap 2. It's a 30-minute race, which was about 17 laps, if I remember rightly. I'll just switch it to the cockpit view so we make a bit of a change. And then I'll explain where I've been for this last couple of weeks. So this is that longish straight coming up to a hairpin. And we go into the second half of the circuit. Couple of Porsches up ahead of me. I think there was only the 3 BMWs, and I was the lead one. So a guy just overtook me there on the inside. I weren't going to let that distract me, though. As I said, I have had a few high-incident races this last couple of weeks. So I was trying to have a clean race, if possible. Coming around the last corner, then, onto the start-finish straight, and then I'll talk you through a lap. So onto the start-finish straight. The actual start-finish is just coming up on the right there. You see the lights. There we go. Braking as we hit the bridge. Down into third. A little bit of trail braking into the first corner. Now back on the accelerator. Dab of brakes just to bring it into the left-hander, which is called Williams. That's my corner. Full throttle now, all the way down the little back area here. Looking for the 100-meter marker, just braking hard down 2 gears into third. Using the outside of the track then to get cut back in on the inside, full throttle. And then down the back straight, which is the longest straight. Looking for the 100 marker, braking hard down into second gear. Trailing the brakes a little bit, I overshot that a little bit. Brakes are probably still a bit cold. These next 2 corners I struggled a little bit with, I just couldn't get them right. I did once or twice, but not every time. Then another hairpin round the back here. There's lots of hairpins on this track. So there's a tight left-hander followed by a tight right-hander. Just get into third and then drop it back down sometimes, if you get it right. And then we're coming around now to the end of the track, looking for the curbs there. Dab of brakes to come in. Again, this last corner, I wasn't getting it right until the end of the race where I sort of sussed it out. And that's a lap. Right, we'll let this, I'll keep it in this view, so you can see what's going on. The last couple of weeks, where have I been? It's not that I've had bad races, although I've not had fantastic races. But when it comes to this particular series that I've decided to go with this year, I realised a few weeks ago I'd probably made a mistake. Not skill levels, not hardness, not, none of that stuff. Financially. It's a 12-week season, so 12 races. 9 of those 12 tracks I did not own. And at $15 a track, that's nearly 150 quid just to do one season, which was way too much. So a couple of weeks ago, I made a decision to not do certain races. And the ones I've picked on are the American oval type races. The in-circuit ovals, which I just hate. I really just can't stand them. They're boring. They just... Yeah, the hardest thing on those races is not falling asleep while driving. So last week was Daytona, the week before I can't remember now. So I just decided not to do them because I just needed to save some money. I was spending way too much of my hard-earned money on this game. And 150 quid plus the cost of the car, so it was like 160, 170 quid just to do a 3-month season? Come on! So yeah, that's where I have not been for the last 2 weeks. I have been doing other races, and I did save a few of the replays, but I was going to bring them to you. There was a Ford Spec Racer race, and... oh yeah, a Skip Barber race I did Monday night, which is actually quite a good race. Including one of the races I did was actually my first place. Not just a podium, but first. So I've broken that one now at last. I've got that one out of the way. But just work being work and life being life, I've not had time to sit down and record these videos and then upload them. So I do apologise. It's not as if I'm getting millions and millions of views. So, but yeah, if you have been enjoying the series, I do apologise. I've not been around for the last couple of weeks. But back this week. Back. Here we are. Racing me BMW again. I think I'm either in 6th or maybe 5th. I think it's 6th, actually. There's a bug with the relative thing in the bottom left. It actually shows final position that I finished, not giving it away, rather than my current position. We are 11 minutes into the race, so a third of the way. Did I qualified P7? out of 11 GT4s, I think it was. Yeah, that's alright. Could be better. Has been worst. So I roughly know the circuit. I'm not an expert at it, by no means, but I've raced enough times now. Alright, you notice now I'm getting into a bit of a flow, and the two green Porsches up ahead, I'm actually starting to catch them, in particularly on this hairpin coming up. I'm braking much later and harder than them, and watch this now. Oh, I'm straight up on them. But unfortunately, I was getting the last couple of corners a bit shoddy. Plus these two left-handers I wasn't brilliant on. So I was gaining then losing on the same lap. Apart from a couple of laps towards the end where I did really gain on them. And there's a bit of action coming up, so don't disappear yet. So running a high downforce setup, which I did try a medium setup, and I was losing the back end a couple of times. So I've stuck with the high downforce. It's not a very high-speed track. It's more these sort of corners that catch you out. As you can see there now, I've lost a little bit of time again to the car in front. I was down to half a second behind him. I'm now back up to nearly 2 seconds. There's a next section as well, section 2, or second section, whichever you want to call it. I was also gaining a little bit on them, so the section 2 and the beginnings of section 3 I was gaining, but the rest of the track I was not gaining. So see now 1.6 seconds behind them. He went a bit wide there, so that gave me a bit of a chance. As I said, you notice now, I was certainly noticing at the end of this straight, the hairpin, I was catching right up because I was braking much harder than later than he was. So down to less than a second. And then, yeah, and just struggling with that one. This next one's not too bad. I discovered if you go in slow and come out quick, you get a much better time down this part of the track. For those that have been watching, I've also changed the relative timer box in the bottom left. The time it's actually showing there, 1:37, it's not the previous lap. I've actually changed that now to the best lap. I find when I was racing, it gives me an idea of how quick, or a better idea of how quick the guy is ahead of me and behind me. I was also noticing at this stage now that the car behind me is now 7 seconds, so I've pulled away from them. So that's taking the pressure off me, so I can now put the pressure on these guys. And I definitely noticed at certain parts of the track, as I said, I was definitely quicker than the guy in front. So I thought, right, if I can get a couple of good laps in, I can get right up on him, and that'll give me the chance to go past him and get up into what will be 5th. If you're new to these, the IMSA Michelin Pilot, as I said, it's a mixed race. So you got GT4s, which covers 3 types of cars. Porsches, McLarens, and BMW M4s. Oh, there's a car off, so that's put me up into 5th. And then we got 4 types of touring cars, which are obviously slightly slower. Not by a lot, though. If you look at the relative box at the bottom left, you see loads of coloured dots across the top. Yellow one's a GT4, of which I'm the one with a little dot above it. So that's a where we are on the lap. So as we come up to the end of the lap now. And then the blue ones are the touring cars. Just switch the views around. Right, the cars in front are having a bit of a battle, which is actually to my advantage. Because that means they're probably slower than they would normally be. And they have been changing places a few times as well. So they've been having a good battle. And say, this is the corner where I'm really catching them up. Because I'm braking much harder and later than they are. Unfortunately, I'm not as good on the rest of the lap. So one corner doesn't make a king. But as you can see now, I'm right up on the lighter green Porsche. So I've actually swapped places. This is now Michael, or Michael, or how you pronounce it. Do apologise. So I just need a couple of good laps now, and I should be in a position to challenge for an overtake. One of the other BMWs is behind me. He's 7 seconds. He's been around that area, so I'm not worried about him at the moment. Obviously, I don't want to be making any mistakes, because that will bring him up into play. So coming around to the back straight. Not going to be close enough this time, but I'm working on it. If you're wondering what the white cross is on the right-hand side of the screen there, that's a car radar position helper. So as I get closer to other cars, it sort of goes amber colour and then eventually red to show where the enemy, where the other cars, yeah, the enemy, can we get them? Because you're obviously in virtual racing, you haven't got the true 3D view around you. So little things like that are allowed to sort of give you a bit of a help. At the moment, obviously, there's no cars anywhere near me, so it's just showing the white. Right, starting to get that last corner a bit better now, so I'm not losing as much time on them on the last part of the lap. I sort of realised I needed to brake a little bit more to go into the corner. So I didn't carry too much speed in the corner, which was pushing me wide. So that way I could accelerate out of the corner sooner onto the longer straight, which is how you should be doing it. Well, I think so anyway. Again, I don't think I'm quite close enough yet. 20 minutes gone, so 2/3 of the race gone. If I get my braking right on this, it should put me right on them though. So now it's getting me into a place where I could push for an overtake. I've just got to stick with them and not lose too much time. Just under a second, so I'll be getting the beginnings of a toe off his draft. And he's also going to see me in his mirrors, so he knows I'm going to be there. I just really need to get these next two corners better than I have been. Yeah, got that one much better, but I'm still losing a little bit of time on them on that last part of the track. Sort of getting up to about 0.7 of a second and then back down to sort of 1.2, 1.3, so not really ideal. But I'm also being quite consistent, and I'm actually getting slightly improved lap times each lap as well, which is a good thing. Obviously, fuel load comes off, but that is then reacted against with your tyre wear. So obviously as the race goes on, your car is lighter because it has less fuel, but it has less grip because your tyres are wearing off. So not as good this time. Still 1.5 seconds behind, so I think they had a couple of good laps there. So yeah, just get your head down, Dean, and get some good laps in and try and catch them back up. 22 minutes gone, 12 laps, so it's about 5 laps left. Slight overshoot there on the first corner. That's dropped me right down now 2 seconds. Luckily the guys behind me are 8 seconds behind me, so I'm not getting pressured from them. But yeah, I can't be making mistakes like that. I need to get a clean lap in. Yes, that last corner I'm losing the big time on. Too slow coming out of it, not getting enough speed on the straight. So I'm in 5th place, so the guy in front of those 2 Porsches is actually in 3rd place, so that's a podium position up ahead if I can get it. Five minutes of the race left. So that's about 3-4 laps. Yeah, about 4 laps. Much better this time, much better now than year we could go. He realised that I was in his toes, he's trying to get out of the, force his way out. I'm also being careful, obviously, not to go into him. I don't want to destroy all this good work, and I've got a clean race up until now. So I know for a fact I can get that hairpin at the back of the straight much better than them. So I'm lining up for an overtake there at the moment. All I've got to do is stick with him, come around this last corner, onto the straight. Here we go. Can I get close enough and go for a dive? So he's deliberately moving out of the way so I don't get a draft off him. I've been very aware that I don't want to go into him. So actually no, on this one I decided not to. I broke it a little earlier than I normally would. I didn't want to go here and into the back of him. So now I need to stick with him for this lap and get right up close to him, ready for the next one. Because he's now being defensive with me, that means the guy ahead has actually got a chance to pull away slightly. Nice and close. Let's just get these last two corners good, Dean, and we'll be in line for a good overtake. Yeah, nice, nice. Here we go. See, he's deliberately now trying to stop me getting a draft of him, and I just think, well, you're probably wasting more time doing that. I'm trying my best now to concentrate on getting the racing line spot on. Try not to make any mistakes so I can keep right on him, ready for that hairpin coming up. Deliberately moving to one side to make him think I'm going to go for a lunge, even though I wasn't. I knew I wasn't. But now in my mind I'm thinking, right, I'm going to go for you on the end of the straight. Here we go, line up. Let's get a bit of a toe off him, coming up towards the corner, looking for the 100 meter marker, which is my braking point. Here we go, and hard braking later than him, much later than him. He didn't give me the space as he should have done, so contact. Luckily, neither of us went off. But still, I was not impressed with that. He should have given me the space. I went for it, and he had to yield to it. So he's now behind me. Can I keep him behind me? That's the main thing. Change the TV camera view so we can see what's going on. Now, I know he could be quicker than me coming around that corner, so I'm now being the defensive one. But I'm also trying my best not to sort of make mistakes. Just try and pretend he's not behind me. The guy behind him in a Porsche, he's a lap down, so we're not going to worry about him. Alright, thinking to myself, right, this is the part of the track where I should be able to pull away from him. Let's see how he reacts to me. So he actually brakes later this time, which is what you should have been doing all the time. Never mind, I guess you learned something. So he's right on my arse. Very aware of that. Very aware he's probably going to go for a dive on one of these corners coming up. Right, he's moved to the left. He's got the inside line, so I'm going to have to yield the space to him probably. I thought he was closer than what he was, so that was probably bad driving from me. I should have closed the door on him, and I didn't. Probably more worried after he hit me on that previous lap that he would do the same again. So I was up to fourth for one lap. But no, there's a good race. It's not over yet. 30 minutes are up. No flag is out yet, so we got at least another 2 laps. No, I don't think I'm close enough to make another lunge at him, and he's probably not going to let me do that either. Let's see if I can get a bit closer, though. Yeah, can see, he's moved over to the right. He knows what I'm going to try and do, if I'm going to try and do it. But I'm not close enough to do it on this lap. I can get a little closer to you. As you see, I've got right up with him. But I certainly wasn't close enough to go for a lunge on that corner. So, I've looked at the time by now when I'm racing and realised that probably the next lap is the last lap. So, if I'm going to do it, it needs to be now. Okay, keeping an eye out for the flag. Is it out? Yeah, white flag, so last lap. Again, I think he's gone less defensive, more now just trying to push. Because he's certainly pulled a gap away from me, and I'm nowhere near now close enough to do anything about it. But I'm also really pushing hard now to try and catch him without making any mistakes. Still got half a lap to go, it's not over yet. So there's the hairpin out the way, coming down into this last final tight section. One wheel on the dirt, luckily I kept control. The Porsche behind us is actually catching us up. I think that's the one that went off on about lap 6. He was doing much faster laps than me, 1:36. In fact, looking at the time of the day, he actually did the fastest lap of the race because he's in purple. So I was aware he was catching me, but I was also aware that he's still 5 seconds behind me with only 2 corners to go, last corner. And there we go. Started P7, finished P5. Not bad at all. Good race with the guy in front. Yeah, he's flashing his lights to say thank you, and I let him go past and did the same thing in a moment. It's a good race. Enjoyed that. And I hope you did too. So there we go, that's week 5, I think, out the way. So we're nearly halfway through the season. Apologies for the last 2 weeks for saying, yeah, money's money, and I can't be spending ridiculous amounts. I'm not making anything out of these videos, so. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, take care, and I hope to see you all again soon. Bye now.